You got that Clinique out of a dumpster. Hello there, hi! My name is Amber Sands and welcome back to my cute little channel. Now today we're going to be doing something that a lot of drag queens or wannabe drag queens or starter drag queens do, and that is following along to another famous drag queen's makeup tutorial here on YouTube. I want to pay tribute and homage to two of my absolute favourite queens from here in the UK. Novympia! They are YouTube drag queen sensations. They have so many amazing parodies under their belt. They do weekly videos. There is so much content, so much garbage to go and watch. They're literally just gonna get like, what, 2 people from here going and having a look at them. But we'll get into why I'm such a fan of theirs and the 2 times that I've met them as we follow along. Obviously there's 2 of them and there's 1 of me. So we're gonna do a lovely little half and half, the power of makeup, and you guys can decide which one the power is, which one's the bad one. For my drag, I usually have shaved eyebrows. I've already done that, we're nice and smooth. So on YouTube, if you search Nova's makeup or Olympia's makeup, the comprehensive guide, that's what I'm gonna be following. We're gonna start with Nova on this side.
YouTube and so many requests. Olympia, and first things first, primer. I use a NYX Hydro Touch.
This is the primer that I'm going to be using. It's the Makeup Academy Pro Base. When it comes to primers and drag, you just got to slap it on your face. We're not going for perfection. You just have to get it on your face. Anything else is a bonus. So she's moving on to beard cover now, which is obviously something that I don't have to do. However, I do still have a lot of blues and darker tones in my face, most notably around my eyebrows. You can see it right here. So that's where my eyebrow grows in the thickest. I'm going to use Give Face Cosmetics Cream Palette. I'm just going to be putting the orange right where my eyebrow naturally comes through. Because I don't have to conceal anywhere else, we're just going to pretend that's, I mean, it's basically an eye beard, right?
Also take the edge of the sponge and do a little bit over my eye bags.
Well, it looks a little bit like I've got a touch of the conjunctivitis. If it works, let's not be scared. We're drag queens, we're not scared of anything. Except maybe evangelical Americans.
Do you really believe that human beings are demons?
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did.
Done. And this will just act as kind of like a initial layer before I go over with foundation.
I don't have stick concealer, I only have this super pale Conceal and Define liquid concealer from Revolution. It might be that it's a little bit too pale. Oh, also, all my sponges are absolutely disgusting dirty. Don't come for me, I know that they're disgusting dirty. I've also just quickly swapped mirrors because I kept covering my face with the Trixie Cosmetics one. Let's just dab this concealer over the orange. That's actually alright. That's not too bad. It has turned my under eye a little bit pink. I think all I've done is cancelled out the orange.
I used to use Max Factor Pound Stick, but I'm currently using Kryolan TV Paint Stick in 2W.
Kryolan I actually do have. I have the 070, which is the Clown White, and I also have it in Ivory. Now, I rarely ever use these. It's so thick that I can't blend it out. I much prefer using these little Primark ones. They glide on and they're so buttery, but when in Rome, you do as the Romans do. She is covering her whole face. But remember, we're only doing half. And then we are going to attempt to blend this out. It could be that I should be using a wet sponge, but it also could be that I'm incredibly lazy and I'm not going to do that. It looks so yellow. Margarine! Do you know what though? That eyebrow cover has done the trick. That looks really pretty. I might continue to do that. She also uses her fingers for blending. I can understand why you would want to go in with your finger just to smooth it out a bit more. We're moving on to highlight. I don't have the Mayron that she has. I have this other Kryolan in Clam White 070. So she does like this palm tree type thing. And then a nice big swoop under the eye And then I'm just going to do a line down the chin because obviously I only have half. Nova is onto her nose, and I haven't decided whose nose I'm going to do. I'm going to follow the tutorial for her nose because I don't think their noses, Nova and Olympia's noses, are that different. Straight down. Like that. That's in the centre almost. Do you know what? I'm just going to leave it at that. It's just a line. Bub? Yeah. Are you knocking? Yeah. What do you want? Wow! You have tea! I don't have the puff pass. What I do have is the good old air spun. I cannot tell you how tempting it has been this whole time to do the other side. At this point, I don't think my highlights stand out quite as much as hers do. But then my Kryolan base, I'm now realising just how yellow it is. I suppose if I had it all over my face, it would look completely normal, but on just half of my face, it's a bit alarming. Look, compared to my hand. Oh dear.
Contouring next, I use a MUA Academy light medium contour kit for my nose.
Now is where we start to draw this familiar triangular nose. She starts from down here and then creating the triangle here. I really should be using a fluffy brush. She's really stamping, like she says, she's stamping the colour on. I mean, it's kind of worked. If I already sketched the other side, there we go. You can kind of see that it does make that triangle. Very, very wonky. Nova takes the shadow all the way up into her brow bone. We are going to round this out using this darker colour. I don't need to round out too much, but I just want to round out this corner here. She's then also making this lovely fish face to find where her cheekbones are. So let's do that too. There we go. Have a lovely line.
And this is just laying down like the basic guidelines for where I want my contour to be.
I don't ever contour my temples. I have another fluffy brush. This is from Spectrum. It's very, very old now, but I love Spectrum brushes. These are really good. I have to not be afraid of what other people are doing, so I'm very afraid. I'm very YouTuber scared of loading up this brush with that much product. Let's get right in there. And we want to make it nice and round because Nova's face shape is quite nice and rounded down the bottom. And then she does this incredibly flattering face and does this. Squeezing the brush into the powder, up. So while I'm doing this, let's talk about How and Why Novympia for Amber Sands. Let's first talk about how 2019 is now 5 years ago. But before RuPaul's DragCon UK, there was a fab drag convention called Drag World, and it was held in London in August every year. My first year was 2018 and I went as Trixie.
All right. That looks so stupid. You're kidding me.
Maybe I'll do a video about my very first time in drag and my experience at Drag World because changed everything I thought about drag. So of course I had to go in again the next year, and that is where I first met Nova and Olympia. I'll put in a little picture. Those costumes were put together by my then partner, and she's my wife now. We were Sailor Katia and Sailor Trixie, which, you know, when you're only a couple of years into your drag career, you do tend to cosplay as other queens. I knew that Nova and Olympia were going to be there. I had become obsessed with the both of them ever since Olympia posted the Amelia Fart parody. It popped up on my recommended one day. They just came around at the perfect time where I was just starting my drag journey, and there was Nova and Olympia doing something completely different with their drag. I knew that they were going to be at DragCon for both of the days. I didn't realise that they were there until I checked their stories by the time I'd gone back to my hotel. I don't know how I didn't see them. This is embarrassing, and Nova and Olympia, I am sorry. But I was checking their Instagram stories, so I knew the second they walked through the drag world doors. I was so afraid of them getting swamped by loads of other people, and so I thought, right, well, if I camp the entrance doors, I can snipe them first. But they were so lovely. It was just after the Poppin' Atelier parody had come out. I think that had come out literally the day before. I had no idea who that woman was, and Olympia was like, oh, did you like the most recent video? And I was like, yeah. I think I just spoke to her about the Jenna Marbles parody. Her parodying Jenna's oh hell yeah is common parlance for me now. It's a big fucking bed. And then Shah was with them and was like, I feel like I know you. I was like, let's do this a beige rainbow. So Nova does circles up here, and then she's doing a swoop. I think we can see. I think so. All right. Eyebrows are not something that I am famously very good at. We've got our pencil, like she said. She goes in quite a straight line and then just tails it off very slightly, like that. It always feels like taking a bit of a risk to do something so thick and big. So she gets up this far, and then right where you curved the underbit, it's a point, and you go straight down to join. Eyebrow brush. It's a Revolution cream foundation stick in F14, and let's fill in the brows. We are going to get this concealer that we used before to block out our brows and dab a little bit at the front there. I'm going to use my finger because I feel like I have more control. And she's just going over her eyebrows with some shadow just to set these cream eyebrows into place. I quite like this. I like how high it is. I like how much space it gives me. It really elongates your face. Right, I'm going to use the Makeup Obsession Mega Conceal. I feel like I may have done this slightly wrong, so I'm not going to go as high as the eyebrow because I just don't think it makes sense to fill in this whole space with white.
Wrong, sir. Wrong.
Not quite as pigmented, but it is there. I never really use my hands for my makeup. I'm always using tools and just...
With this sort of sky blue colour here.
That's her colour. That's her colour, isn't it? Nobody else can have this colour. This is Nova's. This is Nova's colour. We're just going to go over this tail end with some white shadow just to really make that pop. That's not quite as shocking white as I want it. Sugar Pill palette. Taco, a drag queen's best friend, honestly.
The outer edge of my eyeshadow, I'm setting this with a pure white shadow. And
okay, so I'm now starting to see why she doesn't leave this gap. I thought that this also got coloured, but it doesn't. She leaves it white for a reason.
You stupid bitch.
See what I've done? I've gone into the brow, and that is because I fucked up. We were on to darker colour, so I am going to use Kaleidoscopic Dreams by Tiffany, who's Illuminati. She was on series 1 of Glow Up. This is my most favourite palette ever. I don't think they make it anymore. You can probably buy another one on Vinted or eBay or something like that. For how affordable this palette is, the colour payoff is so good. So good. For a darker colour, I'm going to use Electric. This one right here. I'm going to try not to be so neat about it. It just needs to give the illusion of darkening up that bit, and you can see already. Okay, so eyeliner is up next, and that requires the return of the Trixie mirror. This is not something I ever do because I'm not scared of liners. So just a tail straight out. She then fills in the whole lid with pencil, which is really not something that I particularly want to do. I don't like the feeling of my skin being dragged with the pencil.
Oh, poor baby.
So then she goes in with a white liner to then mark out the eyelid. I just don't want to sketch the crease out in white. I'd rather go straight in with the white concealer. What I like to do with this is just put some on the back of my hand. Woo! Oh shit! And all over my legs. Just like that. Yeah, I think maybe it needs to be a little bit higher and a bit bigger. Even though this cut crease is not as big as the way that Nova has it, you have to think, well, that's probably because our eyes are different shapes. But if anybody else is a perfectionist, then you'll know it's really annoying when you can't get it completely perfectly right. Actually, I watched this really useful video. He's called like Struth or something. He talked about in one of his videos about his therapist saying to him that if you set yourself the goal of being perfect, are you ever going to meet it? No. Can you do 75%? Yeah, I can probably get to 75%. That is more than good enough. If this is 75% of what it should be, that's still identifiably Nova. So next we're going to do an under eye line, and then we're going to do the waterline. But we'll do my waterline. Yeah, she goes all the way across. I've never tight lined up top before, and I'm not going to start now.
So to create a good base and to prime the rest of that, I'm taking this white base again, and this is eye safe, so I can put this on my waterline.
Right, so now she's painting the underneath of her eye white. It's a little bit smaller than her one.
Your skin is like steps, and I'm taking out solid black, or I'm taking my pencil and I'm starting to fill in.
Okay, so she didn't go all the way across. I should have watched this first. I never do what I'm supposed to do first. Let's set the white. Next, the hot pink accent. Back in here, make them winks, which on camera is coming out quite pale, but actually in real life it's very, very magenta pink. So we're going to place it right in the middle. Oh, you can barely see. I'm going to see if this palette has a bit of a better hot pink that I can put over top. Yeah, okay. We're finally onto liquid liner. This is a very old NYX Epic ink. I'd never use anything else. So now that she's outlined, we go in with this big Rimmel Scandalize. So it's a big felt tip marker pen, and you can cover so much ground so quickly. Okay, she's not setting the black eyeliner. She's also winged out quite a bit more, and just try and create that nice elongated wing that she has. Yeah, I'm really quite upset that she's not setting it. So she's using a type of eyeliner that she says is vinyl. So once it dries down, that's it. It's going to dry, it's not going to budge. But I personally find that because the eye area is somewhere of so much movement, all the liner is just going to disappear from there. Not even a whisper of blush yet. I'm not very good at under eyelashes. I'm really not. See, I can never seem to get the placement correct. I want to tear them off so bad. Let's do the top mascara. So her lashes are quite nice and spiky right in the center. These are not at all that similar. While the glue on that is drying, I'm gonna go forward and see if there's any blush. It's coming together and it's making sense. So she's using highlighter to just carve out the bottom of her cheekbone there. Yeah. And then she uses a nice pink shimmery. This is nice because it just adds a little bit of colour where we don't have any blush. And she also adds highlighter on her nose. I'm not going to do that for the time being, just in case Olympia's nose is completely different and has no highlighter on it whatsoever, and then it will look ridiculous. We're trying to find a happy medium between the two because after all, the nose is in the center of the face. Science lessons with Amber Sands. I have, of course, selected the lash that's for the opposite eye. Never mind. We'll make it work, we always do. It is quite a lot bigger than her usual. I might have to change this lash. Okay, we're changing lashes. Onto lips. I don't actually have any liquid lips that are that shocking pink. Maybe when I was in my Trixie era. A relic from that Trixie era is this Sugar Pill bullet lipstick called Girl Crush, which is the actual shade that Trixie used to wear. I've had this since, I want to say 2018. We're gonna use it anyway. It's only ever been on my mouth, shut up. So then she's going over it with a gloss. The closest I have is this Revolution Metallic Unicorn Lip. There we go. And that is it for Nova's side. That is not too bad. Let's get on with Olympia's side. So the beard coverage makes another appearance. We're going to use this nice dark orange and just over our eyebrows, exactly the same as before. Just for fun, we'll do a little bit down here just to test it. So I do remember from the video where they swap makeup routines that Nova was very upset with this next step. Once the beard coverage is on, Olympia likes to set it with powder. If anybody knows anything about creams and powders, once you set a cream with powder, it's very difficult to go over the top of it. This is very counterintuitive. The intent of it is to stop the orange moving too much into all the rest of the makeup. So there is intention. I can't start looking at the other side of my face and thinking, yeah, you did that. I do think that I did it quite well. After we've already done everything else, now she's using primer. Oh, I've already used primer. Oh, it's on the back of my hand now. I will take this opportunity to talk about the second time that I met Nova and Olympia, which was just last year. We were both attending the Born Free Pride Festival in Bournemouth. I applied and was invited to perform on the community stage, which is the same stage that Nova performs on. I will insert some of my performance with my best friend here.
Courtney, I could hear you, and no offense, but you sound really shit.
We asked a very lovely lady up in Scotland called Gara and Janae. She only opens from time to time for commissions, but we had her commission 3 sets of Kath and Kim earrings for Nova and Olympia, and to say they were thrilled. I was so nervous to meet them as well, because the first time that I'd met them in 2018, I'd only just sort of got into them. I was like, oh yeah, cool, you're like internet people, you do funny videos and I really like you. And now it's a little bit parasocial and I'm very aware of it.
I love you.
I miss you guys.
I love all of you. What I'm seeing now, I fucking love.
But that just made it a little bit of a bigger deal because obviously you've been watching them for 5 years now. Yeah, they're just lovely people. Unfortunately, at that Pride, it absolutely shitted it down. When Nova was on at 1, I was on at something like maybe 10 to 5. You know, I only met them the once. I even only saw them in the grounds the one time. I do think sometimes with fans that they expect a lot of drag queens, always expect people to be on all the time and always wanting to take a picture. But I can't imagine Nova and Olympia ever being unkind about it. I can definitely imagine them saying, no, not right now, babes, trying to drink this Coke or whatever.
Fuck my life. Don't touch my Coke Zero.
But each time I've met them have always come across as just being so thrilled, and they're just so sweet, and yeah, so.
You will look back on your life and cringe retrospectively.
Thank goodness Olympia is using creamy stick foundation. I'm going to use my Primark foundation and contour stick in Nude Bandit Mask, and then it looks like she's going to be using a different colour for the bottom half of her face. So she's using a liquid foundation on the bottom half, remembering to cover up that little bit of orange. Oh, I just realised with that line, it's not going to blend, is it? Well done me. Okay, so I'm gonna try and take some of this wet foundation over into Nova just to try and blend them a little bit more. It's kind of worked. Her method of application is to put it on the sponge and then under your eye, which actually I like that a lot better. It's so much easier to diffuse.
Maybe you're just learning for the first time that I don't have an Australian accent.
Yes, the accent. When I was getting into drag, when I was first getting into drag and this idea of a drag character, and I was like, oh, she has an Australian accent, and then you watch Come Dine With Me, their couples episode that they were on, and she's never been to Australia. I've also never been to Australia, but I was one of them kids, whenever we had substitute teachers at school, we used to swap accents, and I always had an Australian accent. Very, very neighbours based. Olympia's is very Kath and Kim. It sounds a lot more like, I hate you, Brit.
Little baby cheeses.
But then I feel like when I do my Australian accent, which doesn't really come out anymore, I feel like mine is more sing-song. It has more of an inflection at the end.
And cringe.
But I didn't want to be seen to be copying her and whatever, but I do think it's really, really fun that she has an accent in drag and then people are a bit shocked out of drag. Shall I just keep the accent up for the rest of the video? Let's see how long I remember. So it doesn't seem like she's doing any kind of cream contour. She's going straight in with powder.
Kim Kardashian.
Now, I do remember from the video where they swapped makeup that Nova looked absolutely phenomenal in this makeup. She looked amazing, and I'm hoping for that for me today. It is so weird seeing two different faces on my face. They're going to be so out of balance as well because Olympia's eye makeup is so much smaller. I wonder if my accent changes regions. Alright, well, we don't have Clinique, and besides anything, I watched one of your old videos and I know you got that Clinique out of a dumpster.
The two of you are just as bad as each other. I'm disgusted, man. Good.
I'm going to use the lightest shade. Unfortunately, underneath these lights, it probably looks really, really washed out. I think there's something there. The darker. There we go. She woke up. She woke up, she got dressed, and she's arrived. She's literally taking a load of product on the brush and then literally stamping it on like that. And then we'll just blend it out and cut it out a bit later. Actually, maybe this accent is a bit annoying.
You've got a really annoying voice.
Really, my voice is annoying.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
So already, yeah, I've stopped the accent now. I wouldn't say there's less technique, there's less structure. I think Nova structures her face a lot more. She's a bit more mathematical. Olympia's like, just get the shit on there. Deal with all the problems later. So we're on more nosy business. I don't have the right brush for this, but that's because I like using this nice little fluffy brush. Just in here, in the brow bone, and then drag it down to meet the rest of the nose. We need to find where my natural eyebrows start. We're just gonna make a dash here. There we go.
Okay, so that top line is quite sharp.
Sharp top line. Deep breaths. Set that. So she is fixing with the white. I haven't done that because I don't want to muddy the white with a whole load of brown product. Sorry, Mr. Lobster. I've drawn more of a neater brow than she has, but then where I filled in with the eyeshadow, some of the eyeshadow has come down. Carve it out anyway. And plus this gives us the white for the brow bone. There we go. I don't have Meron black. What I do have is this brow trio. I'm not even going to admit how old this is, but it has this very, very dark brown, and then just put this right on the very tail end. She is setting it with some black eyeshadow, so let's do the same. Although I'm not quite sure why you would do this with white underneath. This is a recipe for potential disaster. That's pretty though. That's very pretty. Okay, so she's using the contour shade that we used for our nose up over the white and into the brow, which I kind of was anyway. There's a definite thick connection there that isn't too apparent in hers, so we might have botched that a little bit. She's doing the tip of the nose, and this is something I absolutely actually stole from her. It's quite stark white in contrast to the nose. Brown eyeshadow time. I wanted to say brown sugar time. Brown eyeshadow time. I'm using this Anastasia Soft Glam 2 mini palette, and we want to go all the way along the bottom of this white out to the side. I don't ever use brown eyeshadow ever. I usually think it's quite boring. Brown eyeshadow is so often used for the Instagram look, and I'm not trying to look like a natural woman in drag. That's not what I want.
What are you doing? You look like a freak.
I can see it though. I can see it. I think it's happening. Let's just get some of this space back. Oh, that gives it such a nice gradient blend there too. Back on cheeks, using that to cut out the cheek. I'm being a bit more carefree about it because this is also something that I do. This is probably why Olympia just like throws things on her face and then deals with it afterwards, because you get to know your own face with makeup so much that you know exactly how you can correct it and things afterwards. So it may look like chaos, but it's actually by design. We are fortifying ourselves before we put the black on. I'm a little bit apprehensive. It's so easy to go overboard. Start in the middle, because then if it's too much pigment, it's way easier to blend out either side than if you start here and then you're like super dark down there and you can only move it one way. I can't find the original brush that I was using to cut my crease. I must have put it down and now I can't get back up. So we start at the start. See, what's happened with mine is I've mixed the white with the black a bit too much. I'm gonna stamp on and we'll just leave it.
If I draw a dot there, so that is how high the eyeliner's got to go.
And just try that instead. Didn't work. I don't think she set the white. How am I supposed to put eyeliner over it?
Really happy with
It has a very good chance of going of grey. Again, because hers is a vinyl liner, it's so thick and it's so smooth that it's not really going to interact too much with that white. It's so slick that the black is just going to slide straight on like an oil slick. I'm going to see if I have anything. So I have found this II Captain by W7. Usually I would never buy W7 eyeliner for every day because I just know that it will smudge, budge, stamp. I've absolutely done that. Too high though. So we're just going to go back in with the black here to make this a bit bigger. Cut it higher again with the white. Look at me hunched like a mirror gremlin. There we go. I do think that is better though. For whatever reason, that W7 liner is really like sticky. It's immediately already gone like crusty. That's nice, isn't it? I'll give it that. It looks great on camera. In real life,
I currently want to kill myself.
so we're going to do the white underneath. And then I think it's mostly white shadow under there. I'm just gonna pull some of that shadow down a little bit just to brighten up even more. That's actually really pretty. I feel like this is a very Marilyn Monroe trick. Put a little flick underneath. It makes your lashes look a little bit heavier, like you've got a little lash shadow here. Oh, that's just a very straight line. Using the same brown that we used up here, smoke this out a little bit. Okay, and then we're really going to start to darken this area up. But I really like this thicker line underneath. From afar, it really gives the illusion that your lashes are just that heavy that you have this shadow underneath. Ugh. Okay, that's really pretty. I don't know if I can show you. It's literally crumbling off my face. I don't know if you can see it. Ugh. Going in and bronzing everything. The Old Faithful, and literally just mixing between those two. Nice. For lashes, I'm going to use the ones that I abandoned earlier. There is no mascara, so we need to go underneath. Under eyelashes again. I hate them so much. I just hate them. Lipstick time! And she is using a matte red lipstick. This is Red Scare from the Trixie Cosmetics Cartier collection. She's putting on some old Hollywood beauty marks. I have a natural one just here. I actually always used to hate the beauty mark that I had there because it's like slap bang in the middle of your face, until my dad told me that Marilyn Monroe used to draw it on, and actually I was very lucky. And that really changed my mind about it. And then as I got older and Christina Aguilera released the Back to Basics album and she was also drawing them on, I was like, girl, I got a natural one. I got no need for that. Then the rest of that video is boob contour. I'm actually not going to do that. I might do a little bit. I've never really done it before, but I'm going to put on the wig, put on some clothes, and come right back. And we're done. What do we think? First things first, Olympia. I know the wig is pink, but it has structure. It's very big. It's got bits of purple. I think that's allowed. Nova's face. Olympia's face. I love it. I don't know why people don't go out in half and half drag makeup more. So the earrings, these are from Bershka. These are from a local independent artist in Worthing. I believe she's called Stay True Stitches. And yeah, this has been me doing Nova and Olympia's makeup. I think it has come out really, really well. I think that I look like the both of them, but on my face. So things that I liked and things that I didn't like. I do not like this eyebrow. It looks fine, and I think on Nova it suits her face, but it just doesn't suit mine. This is so much more finesse and sultry, and I like this. I massively enjoyed that I didn't have to replicate anything on the other side of my face. Nothing had to be symmetrical, but you know, it's Nova and Olympia, so my lips are a little bit small. I probably could have overdrawn them a bit more, but I didn't want to overdraw one and look ridiculous with huge blown out lips just on one half before I'd done the other, so I stayed a little bit tame. I think the nose, it needs to be whiter down the middle just so it really pops the same as the line. And can I also say, between the two of them, there was not one pot of blush in sight. Not one. There is no blush on these cheeks. There's plenty of highlighter over here, none here. No blush between the two of them. So whoever's got them for Secret Santa this year, I hope you got them blush, because the girls, they need some. I shall add a necklace in post. Here we go. There's a necklace. Thank you all for watching and for coming along this ride with me. It's been a bit challenging at times. It's been a little bit stressful, but we've been able to rectify all mistakes. And if anything was stressful or too much of a challenge, can we really say that that is my fault? I think all errors are theirs. I think they should take full responsibility for what's happened on my face right now. So all that's left to say is a huge thank you and I love you to Nova and Olympia and your two fabulous pussies. And to all the Amber Stans, hello, hi, goodbye.
Whenever you want.
Okay.
Okay.
Hang on.